edition of your favorite sports show, Sports 365. I'm your host, Presley Ekwebe, and again, I'm with some of the finest analysts in town, Dami and Biodun. We will be previewing the games across the three top leagues in Europe, talking about the Spanish La Liga, Italian Serie A, and English Premier League. But before we do that, I've got a question I would like to run by both of you. And, well, for the viewers at home, the Panenka technique is a technique used by professional footballers when taking penalty kicks. They basically choose to hit the ball right through the middle rather softly, so the ball just drops in the middle of the net, as against going towards the left or the right, because they suspect that the keeper could go either ways. But bringing this question home and talking about what's happened in the past couple of weeks, the weekend before the international break, and of course during the international break with Sergio Ramos, what's your opinion on players taking the penalty kick in the 90th minute with a Panenka technique? Do you think that's something players should practice?
Yeah, so I mean, if the situation presents itself such that it's a game where that goal determines the final outcome of the game. So, for example, your team is losing and there's a 90th minute penalty kick, and that goal saves you a point or prevents you from kind of relegation. I wouldn't go for a Panenka because it's a very difficult technique to execute actually. So I wouldn't go for it. Go for a direct kick, aim at the point where you want to hit and go with power if possible.
Yeah. Well, Dami thinks that, but remember the Premier League when Arsenal played Tottenham at the Wembley, was it Tottenham Stadium, and the Aubameyang penalty.
Yeah.
Imagine if that was a Panenka, and that's remember Arsenal missed out of the top four by I think a point or two or thereabout. Do you think players should actually, practice the Panenka in such crucial stage of the game?
Well, for me, penalty is a game of chance. So it's like you're playing Russia roulette. So, as long as you feel confident with your technique and you feel you can execute it, just go for it. We've seen players lose penalty kicks even with the hardest of kicks. So it's about confidence. Once you feel confident and you think you can execute it, go for it.
Well, we've seen the big boys do it over and over again. Zinedine Zidane in 2006 World Cup. Andre Pirlo has done it as well. Messi did it in his 700th goal against Atletico Madrid. What do you guys think? I would like you to leave your comments down in the comment section. What's your take on this? 90th minute, 94th minute, last kick of the game. Should players actually consider using the technique, the Panenka technique, at that point in time, or should they just put their laces through it and make sure that they grab that point or indeed that win for the teams? Now let's go straight to the main agenda while we're here. The preview, we missed it over the past week. I mean, international break is good, but come on, the La Liga, Premier League, and all of that. No, it's not easy to not have that. But let's go right into Spain, and let's talk about Barcelona playing Atletico at the one drop It's one of the. I prefer the other stadium, But what do you expect from that game?
Yeah, well, so we're seeing a game of third against eighth position. So, Barcelona is eighth on the table. As
you have to say that,
yeah, because it's quite unusual. Yeah. So, Atletico Madrid is in third position, and Atletico's defense this season, as always, has been really good. They've considered just two goals in 7 games, and we can't say the same of Barcelona's. So, with Koeman's issues, with Messi's issues, they've not really resolved that issue. So, and one would have also said it was going to be Suarez's homecoming, but he's tested positive to COVID-19, which I think is going to be a good thing for Atletico Madrid because it allows them to play the younger players that are relatively faster than Suarez. So it could either be Joao Felix or Morata. And we all know that if he was an attacking coach, he could actually play both players up front. But we know that Simeone won't play both of them. He's going to play either. So I'll be going for an Atletico win. and I believe it's going to be comfortable.
Okay.
It will be a comfortable win.
Well, I'll give you the other game. That's Villarreal Barcelona, Villarreal Real Madrid actually. And what do you think? What do you expect from that game? I mean, when you think about its current form and the season so far, what do you expect to be the outcome?
Yeah. So if we look at that game, Villarreal is they're unbeaten in 6 games. They're doing really good now. Last game they defeated Getafe. Real Madrid hasn't been consistent. They've really not found their rhythm this season. They lost the last game to Valencia. Those 3 spot kicks and
A tutorial on how to take penalties.
yeah. So and now they won't be having Eden Hazard for that game.
Yes.
Who is sick due to COVID-19, and Sergio Ramos just during the international break also had an injury. We're not sure if he will be available. So I think that considering the form of Real Madrid, they may be able to escape with a draw from that game.
Wow. Well, that's the sort of season we're having where teams like Real Madrid will be hoping to escape with a draw.
Yeah.
I would like to know what you, the fans, think of this show. Please go ahead and comment in the comment section. Let us know who you think will come out with a win or draw or maybe even a loss. Let's go into Italy. Let's go to the Italian Serie A now. And Juventus have won the past 7 years now.
Yeah.
And, well, done okay. But the focus here will be on the likes of Inter Milan as they go and play Torino. What do you think could happen? Could this be the year where Inter Milan actually challenge and win the Italian Serie A, given that they have one of the best managers in current world football, Antonio Conte?
Yeah, Antonio Conte is a very good tactician. I like him personally. I liked what he did with Chelsea. I was reading an article where Cesc Fabregas said Conte just told him, "Oh, I need just one person. Once I have you, I need just one person to win the league," and that was Diego Costa. So he got Diego Costa, and with Fabregas, he won the league in his first season with Chelsea. So I like him. He's a great tactician, but I don't really like what he's doing with Inter Milan. You went out and bought Eriksen. Yeah, you bought Eriksen, and now you can't even get a game. We all know how good Eriksen is, and the rumors are that he's going back to England. Yeah. So they've not been consistent. There are times they turn up and they look like world beaters. Lukaku, Lautaro Martinez, they score the goals, but
Brozovic.
yeah. So, but the defense isn't too good, and I just don't think that they've been consistent enough to challenge. I don't think they'll challenge.
So, do you think they're going to win this weekend?
Yeah, they will win Torino.
Just enough to win the game.
They'll do just enough.
Okay, well, AC Milan, best start in a long time in the Italian Serie A, and away at Napoli. What would your predictions be for that game?
Yeah, so it's a game between the team in the first and the third position. AC Milan is unbeaten this season, and they've been living off the Zlatan effect. Now, for this game, AC Milan is away to Napoli. Napoli is a very strong team as well. You won't write them off. If you look at the 2 games between both teams last season, ended up in a draw. So I would think that they're going to have another draw this time around. Yeah.
Okay. Well, Inter Milan a win. AC Milan, Napoli expected to draw. We would like to know what you guys think again about the Italian Serie A. For the Italian Serie A lovers, followers of AC Milan, followers of Inter Milan, feel free to put your posts, in the comment section, to give us an idea of what you think about the outcome for this coming weekend. We'll go straight into the Backlash Premier League now, and of course, the one game that we all look forward to would be the Mourinho against Guardiola. But before we take that, let's take the game between Liverpool Leicester. 63 games unbeaten run. You were saying just before we came on air. Do you think that's under threat this coming weekend?
Well, I don't think it's under threat. I know that it's under threat, and I'll tell you why I've said so. Looking at Jamie Vardy, we all know how he enjoys playing the big boys, right? And he's had a long rest for, he's retired from international football, so
Yeah.
it means he didn't play, so he's well rested. And we all know about the injury crisis in Liverpool's defense.
Yes.
So I'm very sure Jamie Vardy is actually raring to go.
He's going to have a feast.
Yeah. And we also know that Brendan Rodgers is also going back to Anfield. He used to manage Liverpool. Yeah, right. So and we know how Leicester is usually set up when they play against the big boys. They set up to play on the counter, which will be a very good game.
So do you think a counter-attacking approach would favour Leicester in a game where Liverpool literally have, I don't even think they have up to 2 first-team defenders. Why would Leicester? I mean, they might not go that way, but what would you think? Would you expect that from Brendan Rodgers?
Yes, I would. So if we look at Brendan Rodgers, I just mentioned that was with Liverpool, right? So their best games when he was with Liverpool, he set them up as a counter-attacking side. So then they had Luis Suarez, they had Coutinho, they had Sterling. So he used Sterling's space. The same way he set up Leicester now, using Vardy's space. So that's the best way Leicester plays. And for me, if they set up on the counter-attack, they will win that game.
Okay, well, if Liverpool feels under threat, what would... Well, Man City's form has improved, but going into the big game this weekend, Tottenham against Man City, who do you think would probably come out top, Mourinho or Guardiola?
Yeah, so this is a very tight one to call. In fairness to Tottenham, they've been on a very good form. They're kind of challenging for the title, but I know a lot of people are not talking about it, but I see them challenging for the title this season. They're at home. Man City has a record of not really getting good results away to Tottenham.
Yeah.
So, and considering that Man City hasn't really been consistent this season as well, they've struggled up front majorly. They strengthened their defense. They have, one of the best defense, based on the current record in the Premier League. But up front, they've only scored 10 goals out of in 7 games, and they've had Aguero out. Gabriel Jesus just returned. So they've struggled up front. They lack that attacking bite that we know, Man City off. So they will kind of struggle a little bit in attack, but I believe that they will be able to come out of this with a draw. So it's going to be a draw.
Okay, well, draw for Man City, possible draw for Man City and Tottenham, and the other is he's actually predicting a win for Leicester City. Yeah. Just before we wrap it up today, just to wrap it up actually, with the way the season is going, Premier League, do you think that the usual suspects would win the league, or should we brace ourselves for another possible upset like it happened with Leicester, in 2015?
Well, so I think I wouldn't say an upset now because at least we have about 6-7 teams that could possibly win, that we could call the usual suspects.
Yeah.
Right? So I think it's still one of them would win it, but it may not be like a popular name that would win because there are different factors that would lead to that. We have the COVID thing, we have the tight schedules, and there's a lot of injuries. So I think one of the usual suspects will win it, but it may not necessarily be maybe a Liverpool or a Man City that's won it in the recent past.
Bjorn has said 7 suspects. So if we go by the Liverpool, Man City, Chelsea, if he says 7, that would include Man United, and maybe Arsenal, Tottenham, and then Leicester.
Yeah.
So of these 7 teams, based on current form, who would you say would win? Just one word before we go.
Current form. Based on current form, I'll give it to Tottenham, honestly.
Okay.
Current form, but that could change quickly.
Oh, that's a key word. Anyways, Tottenham. Mourinho couldn't do it with Man United. Maybe Mourinho might just do it with Tottenham. Think about what Man United fans would feel. That's just going to be hilarious. Anyways, this is where we'll come to an end of today's show. We want to thank our fans once again for taking our time to watch our our videos on a week-to-week basis. We'd like to remind you to remember to subscribe and also turn on the notification button so you'll be the first to know once we have our content available. Until we meet again next time, we would like to say enjoy your weekend and please stay safe. Bye for now.